Well, in the past, when we have employee town hall meetings, we normally make it more of information sharing and all that. Since we have regular, constant communication with our employees, and pretty much every week you get at least one email from me or my office. So I would assume all of our employees are well informed about what's going on at the city, at least the highlights. But even for departments, we have updates virtually by every department within the organization. So I hope that is the case for most, if not all, of our employees, knowing what's going on at the city and knowing that all the major happenings around you, and so you can be part of. Okay. So today I want to use my time to really to talk about some of the issues that might be on your mind. It's a simple one. I know some employees, they come to me, they just ask questions, or sometimes they just give feedback on what they heard about in my weekly update. And I've received numerous positive comments and suggestions from employees across the organization. They really appreciate the information that they receive. And sometimes they make comment, or sometimes they will just say, oh, I wish my department would do better, or I wish my department participate. Actually, yesterday I just responded one, come from PD employee. So those are the things that we really want to have a two-way communication. Because the fact that the reason that we do this is not just to inform everyone, but really trying to create energy, the more positive energy to make the city better. Just kind of strange. So two-way communication is always the best, and that's why when we have a format like an opportunity like this, I always appreciate the opportunity for employees to ask questions and let us know what they want to know. And so I truly appreciate it. The more questions you ask, the more energetic I get to talk. So that's I want to put out there. Based on what I heard, issues that are on employees' mind is like they want to know what's the budget look like for next year. Are we going to hire more people? Are we going to look at a further reduction? Are we going to grow, right? And even people will ask, are we going to get raises, right? So those are the, I would assume this is on your mind, so I just want to very generally touch on those issues. As you read from my weekly update, maybe about a month ago, I point out that we just kicked off the CIP process, and we're about to start the budget process. From the finance staff's perspective, we already started the budget process, and departments have already received the request for them to prepare their budget for their department. And very critical piece of that budget will be the staffing, right? We are already ahead of that process in terms of come up with a projection for staffing. We have projection not just for next year, we're actually looking at next 3 years, 5 years, and 7 years for the purpose of update of our financial forecasts. Those will be the roadmap for us to really be strategic in terms of build the city and grow the organization, and also provide services that's much needed in this community. So because the fact that we just started the process, I won't be able to share with you any specific numbers, but what I can share with you just some basic things that I see ahead of us. And I know for a fact if we maintain status quo, we will not have to look at the layoffs. So that's out of the way, right? Instead, we want to look at the growth. But we don't want to grow. But we know we lost about 1,000 employees over the last 6 years. We don't want to grow just everywhere. We want to grow very strategically. We want to grow in the areas that we know we have return, not just revenue return, but really the service level return and efficiency return. So for the things that we do, we have to do smarter the last go around in order not to repeat the mistakes that we had to face for all these years, right? The staffing pattern that was projected by department heads, they basically looking at more of an ideal situation, say what do you need instead of what we can afford. So that first go around for the last 3 weeks, finance staff already run the model. They already have preliminary numbers in terms of shortfall, which is going to be pretty clear that we can afford to grow all those positions as requested by departments. So the next step is really trying to be smart about which are the areas that are most critical that we have to deal with in order to achieve the goals that I mentioned before. Right? We want to be able to provide the service and we want to be able to sustain those services for the next 5 years or 7 years. So that will be the exercise we're going to go through next. We also going to start continue our exercise with the budget. The budget piece, as you know, majority of that, 85% is salary and benefits. So those will be directly linked to the upcoming negotiations that we have with two largest union groups, Teamster and POA. As you know, we already reached agreement with IFF early this year. We're in arbitration with PSA. So those are, that's at least the PSA, POA, and the Teamster will be the three groups that will determine what the financial outlook will be like for the next year, or maybe actually at least next 2 years, because most of the contracts are 2-year term. Without having those pieces together, we know that we will have to assume stay flat and still be able to maintain the balanced budget as we did last year. But we know from our perspective, from our experience, also observations, we know if we stay flat, it's not going to be sustainable. And I know all of you, regardless which departments you're in, which functions, services you provide, and I know you all can use some help, right? So we need to determine where and how much we can get those help. So the financial outlook will be heavily depending on the negotiations with unions and heavily depending on the smart things we do as an organization. You just heard about safety presentation. And safety obviously is very important because that impacts all of our employees. Where not only we need you be safe and healthy, and we also want you to serve this community for many years to come. So that's very, very critical. And it also has the cost component associated with it. Just say if you're injured, you're not at work, so we may incur somebody else to come in or even on overtime, right? So that's additional cost. And plus the damage that whether it's our equipment or properties. So those are the things that definitely impact the bottom line, impact the financial numbers. So everything we do has to be linked back to there in order to maximize the benefit to employees and maximize the benefit to the service that we provide. And in terms of the growth, and the way I see the growth is not just adding more bodies. The growth also means that we need to provide opportunities for people, for employees to grow within the organization, whether it's through promotion or through job training, so they are more versed at what they do, better prepared for the next stage, whether it's next level, higher level job, or whether it's to take on more responsibilities. So growth means that. Of course, any of those type of growth will associate with compensation level, right? So I just think for us to be able to provide those opportunities, as you have seen in the past maybe 2 years, and we're trying to focus on our own workforce. I mean, whenever there's opportunity for us to promote someone who is qualified within our organization, that's always the first place for us to look for someone, right? And we also want to look at the smart things that we can do operationally to reduce the operational cost. And you probably have heard from previous updates some of the consolidation efforts we've done, and some of the things that smart things that we put in place and implemented and actually realized savings from a few $100,000 to a couple $1 million. Those are huge things that we could do. I mean, even from small things that you do, whether it's make black and white copy or colored print, right? And every little bit adds up. So I just encourage you to really put forward any ideas and suggestions you have, and even criticisms. If we overlooked some areas, if we could do better in some areas, or if you have better ideas, just bring them forward. You do have a very direct communication. You don't even have to come to my office. You can just send me an email. And I can very proudly say I respond to everyone's email. Doesn't matter if it's criticism or not, I always respond. So you can still continue to count on that. And like I said, I really wanted us to have two-way communication. Help us have as a team. It doesn't matter how smart and how powerful a person is. That person can only achieve limited things. But if we work collectively as a team, we can accomplish endless potential, right? We can accomplish a lot more. So I still have 5 minutes. I don't know if you guys want to ask me questions now or if you want to ask later. Any questions? Yes. %10 cut? 7% from paper? Okay. Oh, okay. So reported the paper by about 7%. Okay. The 7% probably was based on the 7-year forecast that is put in place August a year ago. Okay. So that's over a year old, right? Because we're already in November. And I truly believe that for all the things we have done for the last 18 months have made tremendous difference, which means we need to revisit that. That's why we're doing the updates. We're actually asking all the departments to tell us what do you see your department will be next year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and 7 years from now. That's why we want to plug in those numbers for the purpose of we'll have an updated financial outlook and have more defendable and solid number that we know reflect the changes we have made so far, and also the changes we want to make for the next couple of years. So I will not take it, that's what I will say in the paper to the bank, because we want to continuously reflect the changes and the progress we've made and also adjust the forecast accordingly. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, we still work with them. I believe finance director actually made an appearance last month and to give them update. And for all the feedback we have received from that particular group has been very positive. And actually the chairman was here meeting with the mayor and the finance director yesterday, and they are very pleased with the things that we have accomplished. So I think you should all be very proud being part of that. If there are no, yes. I don't really specifically remember all the three that you referenced to, but what I can tell you is the things that we have done, okay? And if you're looking back the next 6 months, or even just starting from the beginning of this year, we have looked at, it's just within how we can be more efficient. And we look at the redundant or duplicate services, and we basically tighten those up. And but instead of, like, say, if someone left in a position, instead of just go hire that position, we want to grow strategically. That would be the perfect time for us to look at if that position is in the right classification, in the right area, sometimes even in the right department. We look over all this in basically working with the impact employees or working groups or even the departments, make sure that we grow it sensibly and strategically. And I can give you a very simple example that we just actually did probably May or June timeframe. And you all know we used to have a print shop on the basement, right in the basement of the city hall. We have print shop, we have mail room. And by looking at the operational efficiency there, we consolidated. And that move alone saved us close to $300,000. But we also look at associated contracts. We used to have a contract with private companies for them to print very limited material for us. We could done in-house much cheaper and more efficiently. So those are things that we look at, and I'm very proud of the support and the cooperation from employees. And because at the end of the day, it's all the employees who make it happen. So for the leadership to have the insight and has to have the courage to make those moves, make those tough decisions, and for employees to have the dedication and hard work to make it successful at the end. That's something that when I said you should be all proud of what we have accomplished, I truly mean that, because we are one team. We have to work together to make this happen. On the financial side, you probably heard about some of the positive report, either from the local government finance committee or from the financial community, right? If they gave us positive feedback, even positive rating on our bond capacity, then that's what else more you can ask for. And you probably heard about some of the potential projects that come to North Las Vegas. Those are good indications on the trust and confidence they have in this city. So we are part of that, and we probably should be the most proud of. I hope you are. Any other questions? Okay. Now, Mayor is going to use his 15 minutes. Thank you.
Rest assured, I love your city manager. She works hard, and she is open, and she is transparent. And I have a lot of ideas, and she has the same answer. 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks. She is so far behind solving some of these problems that we have that I have to get on the list. But I know that I've got a lot of good ideas, but she has to actually make them work, and I love them. But so I'm very excited to be here today. I think this is a wonderful job that I have. And I've owned different companies, and I've been in the state legislature. But seriously, this is the most exciting job I've ever had. It's I wake up every single day feeling like really I'm making a difference here. When I was in the legislature, we would pass bills and laws and smart things would take place, but when we came home, we never see them in action. You know, it just happened, and we hope those things happen and we're good for people. Here daily, I can see the good things that are happening for the residents, for the employees, for what's going on. You know, I celebrate when we get new update on IT, and I don't know anything about IT, but I celebrate the fact that we're moving ahead, you know. But I did want to take a minute here and tell you guys, you probably heard this before, and I just want to sell it to you one more time, that this is a big business that we all run here. We all run this business together. And if you took, and I was telling the last group, if you took all the residential homes that we have, Will, and you took all the commercial buildings, and you took all the industrial buildings, and you added those up, and then you took the 50% of the land that has not been built on yet in North Las Vegas. So all the assets in North Las Vegas above ground on the planet Earth here that we can see, and you put that number right here. And then you went under the ground and you looked at the flood control stuff. You looked at the fire hydrants in the ground. You looked at all the wires that crisscross our valley, the Lorena puts, sees that go in, and street lights and all that stuff underneath the ground. There's a big value in that too. The sewer system, Will, that you run over there, these huge dollars underneath the ground. If you add all those numbers up, we're running an $18 billion business here. This is a big business that you're associated. This just isn't little North Las Vegas. There aren't that many $18 billion businesses in this town. And the fun thing about this is, basically what we have to do is we have to hit all our payments, we pay our bills, we have to make 26 paychecks a month here, and then we can invest in things that we think are important that the community wants, And we don't have to declare a dividend. We don't have to give money to shareholders. We can just keep making the system better and better. We can go to Craig Ranch, and put something special in out there now. So we've got a huge opportunity in North Las Vegas, not only for our own residents, but for ourselves. Be pretty proud of something pretty special here, And I will tell you this, I don't care what they say about cash-strapped North Las Vegas. They don't have no idea how good we're doing here. There are other communities in this town right now that they're hoping gaming revenues don't drop because their budgets are so tied to gaming that if the gaming drop, they're out. You know what I mean? We don't have that much tied to gaming. We have the military base, we have the retirees, we have a more stable workforce here that we're able to work with. And so if we have $10, if Darren Adair has $10 in his checking account, we have more money than the federal government has. We're doing okay. We're not as bad a shape as some of these other entities around us, but we've got to get better. We've got to come up to a certain level. And that good question was asked about the Oversight Committee, Marvin Levitt's committee, the Local Government Committee. We meet with those people probably quarterly. At first, the idea was, it seemed like, let's don't give them any information. We'll work this thing out. They'll be surprised, and life will go on. We can just go away. It was too far down the maelstrom. It wasn't going to happen. And they were getting very frustrated that we did not have the information they wanted. So it became quickly a point of interest to the city to start treating them as a partner now. We will go in. We will tell you where we're at. You can come over and look at our books. We will work. I know all but every single person on that, but one on that oversight committee. They call me directly. We send them to Darren. We work with these guys. They're not our enemies. They're our partners. They don't want us to go out of business, so we have a great relationship with these people. So we meet with them quarterly. We tell them where we are. We tell them what's going on. We tell them any business license Greg's put out. We're in the business of being transparent with these people. We are going to make it, and we're going to make it with our partners. We're not over here hiding away, just hoping we make it. We have great people that are working with us there, and we are operating in the black. Your paychecks are not suspect. If you go get a loan at the bank, you know you're going to make your payment. We're not laying off here. We're growing ourselves out of this situation, and we're very excited about that. But with that $18 billion business that we run, just so you know, a little couple of facts here Greg gave me this morning, Director Blackburn, in 2014 we had 5,234 permits were issued through your division over there, just for building licenses, right? And that was 14. In 2015, 8,295. Things are moving again in North Las Vegas. This 8,000 is a huge increase that has helped us to get to this point we're at now. In 2014, we had 436 houses that were permitted. This year, we got 598. They're putting infrastructure in places they haven't even pulled permits for right now. Things are happening again within your community. So the total valuation, I told you $18 billion. In 2014, we produced $251 million worth of revenue for the city to do our business. In 2016, through his department, $327 million. We're doing smart business practices over here. We're making good decisions. We've got the right people, and we've asked them, what do we do? How do we make it better? And they've come forth. I tell people all the time, we're not open for business in North Las Vegas anymore. We mean business. We will compete with every single entity in this valley. You need to come to North Las Vegas. We are getting things out faster, quicker. Your department is an incredible moving product out. Our reputation is becoming great. I tell people all the time that people will always come to Las Vegas. They'll want to see the Strip. They'll want to see Fremont Street. They'll want to see that kind of stuff. And those are the boutiques of the valley. They will always be that. We will never be that type of destination, but we will be the breadbasket. This is where product will be built, this is where jobs will be created, and this is where big ideas of the future and the diversification of our economy are going to be here in North Las Vegas. If you think about this whole valley, where's the hot spot right now? Is it Henderson? No. Is it South Strip? No. Is it Summerlin? No. It's here. We're here, guys, and we're the future of this whole region, and we're going to grow. And as we grow, life gets better for all of us here in this building. Okay, so I'm excited about your future here. Just a couple of other things. 215 and I-15, where they intersect there. We've got that road's now going to be produced so that you can go over to 1,100 acres over there and we're going to start producing a lot of manufacturing, warehousing, and stuff like that over there. We've got a sewer line coming up that Randy Duvall's put together with Jennifer Duty. So that is going to be a huge profit center for the city of North Las Vegas. Of course, you're reading a lot about Apex and a lot of things that are going on up there. I want you to be excited about that. I can't tell you much about it, but I will tell you that your city manager is a blessing to have because of her ability to communicate with the people from this company. We think we have a great chance at closing that deal. We're hoping it's still competitive, but we have done all we could on our part. We've packaged it up, sent it up to the governor. They're working now with them. If they can strike a deal, the lobby team will go up there, see if we can make business up there, and then it'll come back, and then it comes back to us. They become our partner. We're working together with them to make it happen. So we are very close to knowing the aftermath of that accumulated work that Gina and her team have put together here. The VA hospital, I'm now working on that 150 acres to see what I can do. See, they're going to build a medical school in this town. Thank heavens we need it. I'm excited about it. But we've got 150 acres. I'm not going to wait till the legislature figures out what to do with that 150 acres. That's our land. We'll decide what we're going to do with it. We'll decide how it's going to be zoned, who we sell to. And that's going to be a huge profit center for North Las Vegas also there. And then the fuel indexing, as you pay for your fuel, a little penny here, penny there comes out of each gallon. We've been just dotting our town with cones. We've been putting road work to get all over North Las Vegas to build that infrastructure that's going to build those jobs. Now, recently, Terry Sheridan and I and Gina's team have been figuring out, okay, we got a lot of land in the hinterlands, but if you go over to Pamela Goins' district, Eric Brown's district over here, there's a lot of 5-acre, 10-acre, 15-acre parcels just sitting there. Sewer and water run right by them, you know. We're going out there to be aggressive to see if we can match those properties to certain needs that now we can start producing income on those pieces of property. So we're not just sitting back hoping the legislature does something. If they don't do anything, next we move on. You know, we're like a guerrilla army here. When the big army gets up in the morning, gets ready to go and start rolling, we take a break. When they stop and eat lunch, we attack. You know what I mean? We're always moving at the time that they're not moving. So when they're not thinking, we're thinking, you know. So we're not going to wait for the legislature to decide what we're going to do. We're going to make our own future here, and we're excited about it. We're looking at all existing contracts that we've had here for years and years. You know, just because you do business with somebody and they're your good friend doesn't mean you're always getting the best deal, you know. Sometimes you need to kind of stop and reevaluate relationships. You know, I probably told you this guy before. You ever see this story before, but you ever see that King Kong movie, the very first one, that Fay Ray's in it, and he's up on this, holding the Empire State Building, and she's in his hand, you know, and there's airplanes buzzing all around that big ape, you know. Well, if you really look at the oldest one, it's funny, but the airplanes go into his hair sometimes, you know, and then that big bee shakes and all that stuff falls out of him, you know. That's what we're doing right now. We're shaking. We're looking at, why are we doing business this way? If they did it this way 4 years ago, maybe that's not the way to do it now. Things have changed. Contracts can be manipulated. So if we have contracts out there or we're buying from somebody always just because, let's take a look at that. Let's see what we're doing. If nothing else, we'll give our vendors a chance, but let's make sure that we're paying the right price for this kind of stuff, you know. So each of you are my business partner. Each of you have something valuable to share with me, and I have something valuable to share with you. When I got elected mayor, my job isn't to be a city councilman. My job isn't to be a city manager. My job isn't to be traffic engineering, Mike, you know what I mean? My job is to say, guys, here's where we're going to be 10 years from now, you know, and kind of get up at the big view and look where we can go, and then say, guys, I saw the promised land over here. Here's some of the things we can do. And I say, do you think we can do it? And you guys go, yeah, we can do this, we can do this, let's get together. And all of a sudden, development happens, things happen. It's the team that we've been able to put together that's gonna fix North Las Vegas here for us. So if there's any contracts or anything we're buying that's always done the same way, take a look at it for us and see if we can make sure we're getting the best deal. Now, this is timely. If you guys can understand this one thing, we're going to make it. But between now, which has been since I got here, including now, till October 2016, we are in this zone, you know what I mean, where we have to walk very timidly. We have to be careful. We got to watch out what we're doing. And then we start the process of starting paying the bond principal on the bond payments and things like that. So we've got probably one more huge hurdle that Darren's got to get us over. And then from there, we start stabilizing, you know. But between now and 2016, your life's not going to change. You're not going to know it. But just recognize you will see the system having to adjust to get ready. And I just want you guys to realize, no shock or surprise, we wake up every single day trying to hit 2016. And the more product we pump into the pipeline, the faster and quicker we can get out of this hole. So when Grace Department is shoving this, we're shoving this stuff in a straw. Eventually it comes out, right? We're shoving that straw through right now, you know. So, but if we can continue to move on the products that we're moving on to get into our city, we're going to be in great shape. I just want you to recognize that. Just remember October 2016. That's a very important day for this city. So my goal, if you want to know my goal, I grew up here in North Las Vegas. Love the city. My mom, we moved here in 1961, and it's just always been a part of my life. I just love North Las Vegas. But one of the sad things that happened, and including you in your lives, if both of the husband and the wife worked in the gaming industry, the hospitality industry, the tourism industry during that last recession thing that happened, or the 9/11 thing that happened, it wipes out that whole family. You know, if you both work at Caesar's Palace and Caesar's Palace starts laying out, there's a good chance you both might go. But North Las Vegas has never produced the jobs here that the people could stay here in North Las Vegas. And maybe the wife was a casino dealer and the husband worked in maintenance or somewhere hotel. You know, now we can say, listen, maybe the man could work out at Apex and make a real good living, and the woman could work still in casino dealing, you know. But we don't like both them paychecks and that family being tied to another airplane hitting a building. So there are probably more people in North Las Vegas who own a home that don't live here than ever have before. People from Canada own homes here. When everything was going low, they were buying these homes up, right? So we've lost a lot of home owners. We have a lot of renters here. We want to get these homes back into the hands of the people that live here. And one way to do that is to stable the economy for these people. Make sure they're both not working in that same industry that could get hit. And so it's my job, that 10-year view, to make sure that these residents in this town, that their property values go up and they're not so susceptible to something like that happening again. And that's what gets me up every day and get going. So I'm going to tell you guys just a little story about me, which is, you know, I was thinking, I want these city employees to know that their city council is excited about the future, but we're going to have to work a little harder. And I don't mean harder what you do, but just mentally, just grind in with me just a little bit longer. When I was a little paper boy for but I think I got my job at 8 or 9 years old. I had a little Stingray with the banana seat, and I'd drive around the neighborhood, and my mom says, "Won't you get a job?" I thought, I'd like to have a job. Popsicle man comes down, you don't give me any money, you know. So she got me down to the Valley Times. We got this little paper route for our area. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever days it was, I'd throw that newspaper, and I'd roll it up, and I'd stick it in my little bag. And I'm just a little fella, and the bag's kind of full on both sides. And I'm riding like this the first day, and I'm falling over, you know, because you never had anything on your bike that pulls you over like that much weight, you know. And I get going, and I pedal a little longer, and I'm throwing this newspaper, and half of them hit the sidewalk, and I got to stop and throw the paper. Got to learn how to throw a paper is what I'm trying to tell you. And I got this little paper out get going. Man, I loved it. I'd go out there, and at the end of the month, I'd collect that money. It was 80 cents, and they'd give me 20-cent tip usually every time. They'd give $1, and I get that 20 cents, and I was so happy. And so, but when I had to go on vacation, I had to get somebody else to take my paper out. So I met the guy at the RJ. He was a paper out guy because I'd see him in the afternoon, and the Las Vegas Sun. That was the morning paper. And so I got to know these guys, and they were young like me. And so the deal was, when I went out of town, they would run my paper out for me, and I'd give them my little cards of where I had to throw papers to. And so I went out of town 2 times. One time with the Sun. the guy took my route over. One time at the RJ, took my route over for about a week. You know, we went to Pensacola, Florida, where my dad's from. And life was good. So then they were going on vacation. At least one of them was going on vacation for Las Vegas Sun. Now, Las Vegas Sun was a tough newspaper. So you had to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to throw that one. That was when it was a morning newspaper. And this guy says, hey, we're going on vacation. It's your turn, you know. And I said, all right, yeah. And so the route manager, he comes by like at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and they don't even stop. They just drive right by and they throw these bundles of papers out, and they roll all up on your front yard or in the driveway or something. They don't set them out very nice, you know. But you hear the flop, flop. You could hear it hit the ground. And I'd get up in the morning and I'd tackle those things. I'd cut it, and I was like when you get a steer, you know, you rope a steer. I'd grab that thing, grab a rubber band, boom, boom. I'd throw that newspaper over. I'd throw it. I could really wrap newspapers quick with a rubber band, you know. So the first morning, I got it. I got this. Oh, I didn't tell you this. Then the guy from the Review Journal called me up and said they were going on vacation. I had to do his route too. So, and I owed these guys. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll do it. What can I say? And I remember going to my dad and say, Dad, what do? I got to do both these routes. He goes, you just go do all you can do. You know, I mean, what else can I say? He had to go to work in the morning. He couldn't wait to take me out in the morning. And I get home in the afternoon. The afternoon papers were there. So it was basically up to me. I had two little sisters that couldn't help. And said, just go do all you can do, you know, which meant do the job, you know. So anyway, I'd get up the first morning, and I wrapped all the Las Vegas Sun newspapers, and I grabbed his little horn, and I'd take off, and these papers like this thick compared to my little newspaper I had. Man, I'm going like this, you know. And I get home that day, and I run to school real quick. I'm tired. I never get up 4 o'clock in the morning in my life unless we were going fishing. And so then that afternoon, I got to get home, get the paper out before the mom and dad come home from work. You know, they want it there by 5 o'clock. So I wrap my papers up, and I wrap their papers up. And the first day I go through all that one guy's papers, and I come back, and it takes like an hour, and then I got to go do my route, and then it takes another hour, and I thought, I got to do something different. This is working. So I figured out if I took this area and I did these two newspapers, and then I'd come home, go grab a whole bunch more, and I'd go do this area, that I could throw two routes at one time, and you'd start getting to know who their customers were, you know, so you don't have to look at the paper every time. And I'd throw them papers. And I did that every day, like for 5 or 6 days. I'd get up 4 o'clock in the morning, do that. And catch that afternoon round. I'd get done around 6, you know. But it was at the end of the month. And at the end of the month is when you had to collect your money, you know. So I'd go collect my little route, and then I had to go collect this guy's route, and I had to go collect this guy's route. You know, I had to collect 3 different routes. So I had 3 little money bags, and I'd tie them to my little belt and put them, you know, my little bags or whatever, you know. And I'd start collecting. As soon as I threw all the papers, the last week I did, I'd turn around and say, sir, I need to collect your money, collect your money, collect your money. You know, and I'd just start work every night. I was after the second day, I'd start collecting money from people. And I'd have a little account here, and I'd take change out of this one, make change for this guy, you know. And anyway, it flat wore me out, you know. And then I finally got done, and on Saturday I had to collect all day long. And these people would say, yeah, come back in a half hour. My husband would be back. And I'd go collect some more, and I'd come back, collect from this guy. So anyway, they come back. I give them their stuff back. I'm finished. I'll never read the Las Vegas Sun again. You know, 4 o'clock in the morning is too early, you know. But they gave me a tip for doing their job. They like, here, you can keep half my tips and, you know, stuff like that. I never made more money in my life than I did that week. But what I learned was this. All you can do is all you can do. That's all you can do. But all you can do is enough. If you just go do what you're supposed to do, just work it till you get it done. Break it down, make it simple. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. All you can do every day is all you can do. You can't do any more than that. I don't want you working 10, 12, 14 hours a day, you know. Work hard, work smart, get your work done, and go home on time. Come to work on time, go home on time. Somehow, a lot of this stuff will work itself out. Management will work with you, but all you can do is all you can do. Don't take this stuff home with you. Don't just lay in bed. How am I going to do more, you know? Just let your creative juices flow. There's certain things that can happen in a certain way that can benefit you sometimes, you know? But all you can do is enough. If you can keep coming and working every day and come back the next day and just pick up where you left before and just give it what you got, by October, we're going to be in great shape. We really want you to understand that good times are coming. It just has been 2 years of me getting up every morning going, what dragons do I have to slay today, you know? But we're getting less and less of those challenges now. We got more and more people telling our story. You know, when I tell you when I say to you, Anaheim, you think Disneyland, right? There'll be a day people say North Las Vegas, they're not going to say Castrap. They're not going to say John Lee. They're going to say that company out there, or the BL, all the things that we got going. Good times are coming in North Las Vegas. Just push through just a little bit longer with me, but all you can do is all you can do. Don't take any more guilt. Don't take it, stress it. You don't have to take. Just go do your best. That's all we need you to do. And I'm excited to tell you, we're going to make it out of this hole. This hole looked like it was a grave. It wasn't. We found out graves, when you go in the ground, you ever come up, there was a little road going up this way. That was a rut. We're coming out of this rut. That's what I want you to know. So anyway, I'm excited about where we're at. I want you to have a great Thanksgiving. I want you to have a great Christmas. And I want you to just gird up with me for another couple months after that. And then, Darren, I expect you to get up here, because Darren's giving me that day. If we can get through 10/16, then it'll be a whole new day in North Las Vegas. So I don't know if you have any questions for me, but most of the questions are probably Dr. Lou's questions. But I'm just excited. Hey, I love being your mayor, and we have nothing to hide but the success that we offer to this whole region. We're going to be a huge player in this whole region, and thank you very much.
So we still have a few minutes. Do we have any questions from you all? No? Okay. So I hope you're all as energetic and as excited about our future as the mayor and myself. Let's go back to work then. Thank you very much. Have Thanksgiving.